Hello, you guys, and welcome back to another video on another really important consonant sound for native Arabic speakers. Today, we are going to talk about the TH sounds in English. I say sounds in plural because there are actually two different ways that we use the TH in English. So I'll explain those differences. It will be very easy for you guys to catch on to. The TH is a sound that I really love working with because it's one that is typically a quick fix for people. That doesn't mean that necessarily you will all of a sudden use your THs in a different way if this is a problem or a struggle for you in your pronunciation, but it's something that you'll understand really quickly in a way that other sounds might be a little bit more difficult to catch on to. So we're going to talk about here in this video the pronunciation challenges that you are probably facing as a native Arabic speaker and some tips for success for your practice moving forward. Let's get straight into it. So what this lesson will cover. We are going to talk about how to make the TH sound. So what are we doing with our mouth, with our lips, with our tongue, etc.? What are the most common challenges that you're going to face based on your linguistic background? And we're going to talk about some of the best practice methods for this specific sound. So, how to make the TH sound. This is a really relaxed sound. Okay, so we don't want to be really tense when we're talking. People who tend to get really tense and tight in their lips and their mouth when speaking will definitely often change this TH into a different sound when speaking. So here we want our tongue and our jaw to be relaxed. So buzz out your lips with me like a horse. Just relax your jaw. Relax your face, allow it to go to its just resting position. And feel how everything is just calm. We get rid of the tension. With our tongue is a muscle as well. So the tongue is something that you can tense up or you can relax. And if this is something that's hard for you to imagine, practice this with me. So if you take your tongue and you stick it out, and you try to point your tongue and put it in, make it really tiny if you can, but point it out. Now, try to make it flat and relax your tongue. Use a mirror if you need to practice with this. This is to show you that your tongue is a muscle and that you can change how tense or how relaxed it is. So for this TH sound, we want the mouth, the jaw, the tongue to be nice and relaxed. So this is a great sound to practice with a mirror because it's very useful for us. The next step is to have the tip of your teeth, or the tip of your tongue, touch your upper teeth. So this is where some people can feel a little bit uncomfortable, right? If they don't want to stick their tongue too far out of their mouth, but it doesn't need to be exaggerated. It's just, and it's not something that you really hear, but something that you feel. So when I make this TH, you can see my tongue is flat, so relaxed versus tense, relaxed. And the tip of my tongue is coming to touch my upper teeth here. And then the next step here is to allow the air to flow freely out of the sides of our mouth. So make that TH sound with me a few times. If it's difficult or feels strange, that's okay. This TH sound does exist in Arabic, but it tends to be represented in a different way. So we're going to talk about how to identify where we can find these different areas or aspects of where we're going to use the TH in American English and how to identify that in a different way. So remember, we're changing our perception of how we view and perceive sounds, because the way we hear them and the way we use them is not necessarily the same way we see them written down, which can be sort of tricky. But the good thing with the TH is that if you see a TH, you will pronounce a TH. Okay, so it's not like some other tricky vowel or consonant sounds that can change based on where they are. Almost always, except for an exceptional like 5 words that exist in English where the TH is not pronounced like a TH. In all other words, you're going to find that doing this, jaw and tongue relaxed, tip of your tongue coming outside of your upper teeth, and allowing the air to flow through your mouth freely. With that, you'll make the TH sound. And here is an example. I think the idea of a snake hissing is a really great example of the sound that we hear and for imitating it. So we're just going to watch this first little clip of, or the first moments of this clip from the Jungle Book with the snake.
Say now, what have we here? Oh, it's a...
Say now. So he's changing different sounds into a TH, the snake, because he speaks with a hiss, right? So this is a good image that you can picture if it's hard for you to find that sound on your own. Now, another diagram to sort of show you visually in a different way as well is here, the TH, exactly what you've seen me doing with my lips and demonstrating. We can see the air flowing out. Our lips are relaxed, tongue flat and relaxed, and coming outside of our teeth there. So a great thing to be able to see in the mirror and check if you're doing it well. So let's get into some common mistakes for native Arabic speakers. So one of 2 things will happen. This may depend on what your native dialect of Arabic is or what your accent is like in Arabic. May depend on whether you do one thing or the other. But these are the most frequent mistakes that you'll find that you'll probably make based on your linguistic background. So the first thing that you might do is, instead of pronouncing a word like thanks or thing with the TH, you might change that TH into another sound and say thanks or sing. Or a word like they, instead of pronouncing it they with the TH, you may pronounce it zay with a Z. So that's one common mistake. The second common mistake is replacing the TH with a T or a D sound. So instead of saying the word thanks, tanks with a T, or instead of saying they, saying day with a D. So these are the common mistakes that we're going to be watching and looking out for. So here's some other examples of what this would look like. For example, if I want to replace this TH in the word path with an S, it would sound like pass instead of path. And this is showing that there are minimal pairs or pairs of words where it is important to make sure we are pronouncing it correctly, because there's another word with the S or Z that does exist. If we replace it with a Z, for example, a word like this might sound like zis. Zis, a very typical thing I hear from native Arabic speakers. Next, if you replace the TH with T or D sounds, like I said before, think could turn into something like tink with a T, or a word like other could turn into utter, and sound like a D. So here's some examples of TH words, and we're splitting them into 2 categories. We're going to have voiceless and voiced. Okay, remember we've talked about this already. So voiceless sounds are sounds where we have no vibration of the vocal cords. So try that yourself, making a TH with no vibration here, totally relaxed. Everything should be still. And that's in a word like thing, athlete, or bath. So we see we can find this voiceless TH in the beginning in the middle, or at the end of a word. It can be anywhere. Now the voiced TH is where we want to find that tension and activate our vocal cords here. So the same thing we're doing with our mouth, we're just activating our vocal cords. Those, weather, breathe. So the same thing with the voiceless TH. You can have a TH at the beginning, in the middle, or at the end of a word. Okay, so we're going to practice with all of them. Those, weather, breathe, breathe. So you should feel that, that tension at the end. So the good thing is, back to these common mistakes, we had before replacing a TH, you might put an S or a Z or a T or a D. And the reason why there's two different sounds that we might replace it with is because it's the difference between voiced and voiceless sounds. So for example, if I make a mistake with a word like path that has a voiceless TH, I would replace the TH with another voiceless sound, like an S, no vibration, or a T, no vibration. However, if I have a voiced word like those, if I change this TH, I would replace the TH, voiced TH, with another voiced sound, like a Z, zos, feel that that's a vibrated sound, z, or a D, doze. So instead of zos or doze, we want to hear those. And the only thing we have to do is make sure we're getting our tongue outside of our teeth to make that happen. So let's see some examples of some minimal pairs or combinations of words that are similar except for one sound. And these are where we can hear some common mistakes come in, because if we change or transform the sound, it will actually sound like another word. Okay, so practice these minimal pairs with me. So on the left-hand side, we have the THs, so where we want the tongue to come out of our mouth. Think. Think. And I want you to practice holding out the TH with me for longer, because that will help train your mouth to become more accustomed to doing that motion when you see a TH written down. Think versus sink with an S where my tongue is inside my mouth. Those, doze. And you can see the difference in my tongue when I say these two words. Those with my tongue out, those, doze. With doze, you see that my tongue is coming up and touching the roof of my mouth for a D sound. So that's not the TH, right? Those. So tongue out. Our next, too quick. Our next minimal pair is with TH at the end this time. With, whiz. Faith, tongue out, faith, face. Faith, face. And if it feels a little uncomfortable right now for you when you see a TH to stick your tongue out, it doesn't have to be too exaggerated, right? It's a very quick motion, but you can exaggerate the motion when practicing so that you feel more comfortable sticking your tongue out in those moments, okay? So now let's put it into some sentences as well, where we hear the comparison. First, I think we're about to sink. I think, tongue out, I think we're about to sink. Tongue in for sink. 2, those are big bulldozers. Those are big bulldozers. Those, tongue out, are big bulldozers. Tongue in for dozers. 3, I was on the team with the math whiz. I was on the team with the math whiz. And here we're focusing on this minimal pair with versus whiz, but we also have other THs that show up, right? We see the TH in the, another the here, and another TH at the end of math. So careful with all of those, not only with and whiz. I was on the team with the math whiz. Take it nice and slow to make sure you get all of those THs with your tongue out. The fourth one, I have to face it. She's got faith. Tongue out. I have to face it. She's got faith. All right. Awesome job with those minimal pairs. Let's see some other minimal pairs. Instead of working on the S and Z, like we did here before with S and Z sounds, we're going to work on the T and B minimal pairs for those of you who struggle with transforming the TH into these sounds. Okay. So the first one, theme, team. So tongue in for T, tongue out for TH. Theme, team. They, Again, see the difference between they. Putting our tongue up and inside our mouth for the D. 3, both, boat. Both, boat. 4, breathe, breed. Breathe, breed. And if it's tricky for you to find that TH, that voice TH at the end, hold out the breathe until you find the TH sound, okay? If you cut it off or don't hold it out long enough, it might sound like a D. So careful to hold it out that extra bit if it's a challenge for you. And we'll put these into sentences as well. So the first one, the team had their own theme. So focusing on team versus theme, but we also have a TH in the and here in there. So you can be careful with those as well if you want to challenge yourself more. The team had their own theme. Great. Second one, they had a great day. They had a great day. 3, both of them bought a boat. Both of them, another TH in them, both of them bought a boat. Number 4, this, with TH, tongue out, this dog breed has trouble breathing. TH in breathing. This dog breed has trouble breathing. All right, great job. Okay, the next thing I'm going to show you guys that will be a part of your practice exercises that you'll have after this are what we call TH transitions. And this is a really great way to practice turning these TH sounds into muscle memory, because where it can get even trickier to pronounce the TH, even if we are focused on it, is when it is specifically paired with other sounds that we tend to confuse the TH with. So I'll repeat that because it's important. The TH can become more difficult to pronounce naturally as a habit when we see it next to another sound that we tend to replace the TH with. So in certain words, if instead of saying a TH, I pronounce an S or a Z, and then I see an S and a Z together, or after or before a TH, but I still want to pronounce the TH, my muscle memory will try and trick me into saying the S or the Z just 2 times or making it longer. But we don't want that. We want to force ourselves or really encourage ourselves to pronounce that TH. So what we'll first do with these transitions, I'll show you how to practice them, and then you can follow along with how it is practiced in the audio recording that you have for homework. So for the THS, what we'll start with is we want to start with individual sounds. So I'll start by making the TH sound and then transition into the S sound. So this will sound like thus, thus, thus. So making a TH and transitioning straight into an S. This. And I do that 3 times as quickly as I can, but I make sure that I go slow enough where I can pronounce each of the sounds individually, okay? And next, I put that into some example words with those combinations. So for example, with some, bath salts. And with this S transition, you can, with the TH, be very subtle with how often or how far you pull out or stick out your tongue. It doesn't have to be too exaggerated, like I said. But if you're struggling with the sound, you can exaggerate it more just for practice purposes so that when you speak quicker, it's a more natural transition for you. Okay, and then we'll do the same thing with the TH and S, but this time we'll start with S and go into a TH. So start with the S sound, S, and go to TH. S. Pass them. That's theirs. Great. And then we'll do the same thing with all of the other sounds. So from TH to a Z, for example, thz. With the zero. Take the transition in between the words really, really slowly if you need to make the sounds. Both zoos. From Z to TH, z. Has the. Phase them. Okay? And we'll do the same thing later with the T and B sounds. Those are resources that you'll have in the audio. Like I said, you can practice along. It's just making sure we first focus on the individual sounds. So TH to S, TH to Z, or Z to TH. And then we put it into different word combinations so that we can practice working on that muscle memory. And now for some final tips for practice moving forward with the TH sound for you. One really great thing, like I mentioned at the beginning, is to practice in front of a mirror. I mean, with the TH, you can see if you're making the sound just by watching to see if your tongue is coming outside of your teeth. So it's great practice looking in a mirror when you're working on these sounds, okay? And then the second tip here is to record yourself and listen back. So if you're, especially with these minimal pairs, if you want to hear if you're being clear and making a very clear distinction between the two, you can record yourself reading off sentences or practice phrases and then listen back to those phrases and hear, okay, do I hear TH or do I hear an S? Do I hear Z? Do I hear a T? Do I hear a D? And here we are training your ear so that you can point out or pick up on your own pronunciation challenges on your own, which is really powerful because once you can do it on your own, you don't need to ask anyone for help, right? Which is, I think, a really empowering thing. So these are 2 things to practice. Practice in front of a mirror and record yourself and listen back. You can also use, as always, the Google pronunciation tool that I showed you in the beginning of the first module of this course. You can practice into the Google pronunciation tool and get feedback from Google on if you are pronouncing that TH correctly. All right, that's all of our practice for the TH sounds. If you are confused about anything, feel free to watch this video back again to make sure you are clear on all of the differences between these different THs and how to use them. Dive into your practice audios and your PDFs, and great job, good luck, and happy practicing. I'll see you in the next video.